Welcome to the Afterlight Podcast with me, Lauren Grace, a spiritual podcast full of stories and conversations that prove we're never alone. The Afterlight Podcast aims to inspire and educate. Remember, you are the authority on your own life. I encourage you to run everything through your own filter, to take what resonates, and I also urge you to do your own research and consult with qualified professionals for advice on your personal situation. The opinions shared by guests are their own, and any advice by our guests or by me is not a substitute for professional guidance. Thank you so much for listening, and I enjoy journeying back with you to the afterlight. Enjoy the episode. Hey, Lauren Grace here. Welcome to the show today for another solo episode where today I'm going to be talking about energy management. And I also wanted to kind of rehash some different things that you can do to help yourself, especially if, you're feeling a bit maybe down or drained. These are some of the things that work for me anyway. And I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that I've been learning from the road, which I think are, sometimes interesting. And I wanted to just kind of share these little mini stories. So first of all, I wanted to just say that there are a lot of women traveling on the road. A lot of women are traveling with other women or by themselves. And I've seen quite a few women traveling with kids. So whether they're couples, I'm not sure, or just friends with their kids, there's a lot of women out on the road living that van life, living in caravans. And I just think it's so cool and it's so empowering to see that. And I just want to give a huge salute that if you're a woman and you're out there and you're doing that by yourself, it's just so cool to see. And just a lot of respect for you. I love Facebook groups too, where there are communities that you can connect to that have similar interests. I'm in some interesting van life, caravan groups and things like that on Facebook. Lots of tips and tricks you can learn. Lots of different survival skills and different tools that you can pick up on. And I love that. So if you are, interested in maybe trying something new or exploring a new hobby, and not really sure how to get started, the time is ready. It's right now. We're nearing the end of the year. 2026 is upon us. It's going to be a really exciting time, I think, to try new things and really start to explore and tap into the things that maybe we've kind of pushed aside. And there are a lot of people who have gone before you. So community groups and books and even podcasts on all these different subjects that you can learn from, get motivated from, and get inspired by. And I think one of the biggest things my guides are reminding me is like one small step leads to big change. So even if you just join a group or read a book or let someone know about your dream, even if you just kind of enroll in a free masterclass or go and leaf through a book at the bookstore that's on that subject or topic that you're curious and keen on, those are really good ways of kind of wetting your feet, so to speak, of getting into it slowly. I've always been someone who, can be intense, and I like to run before I walk. But when you run before you walk, you miss details and you jump into things without thinking things through. You know how some pages have those, they'll go, buy this, buy now, buy in the next 10 seconds and get blah, blah, blah. I'm a sucker for that. I have to always kind of remind myself, chill out, Lauren. You're not going to miss the opportunity. Definitely FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. When we take small calculated steps though, and we are feeling into what feels good and we're taking steps that help us to feel good, or that feel good while we're doing them, I think we can also, kind of get to where we're needing to go. We don't have to really make as many mistakes. But again, you just have to kind of find your way. I think my way very often is like, let's do it. And then I kind of go, oh, maybe I should have looked at some more information. But, that happens. Sometimes I do both. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. All right. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the women on the road. And then I just had a little tangent there, a little bit of a rant. Okay. one of the things I also wanted to talk about, and I just want you to kind of like look at this as a metaphor, basically. So when you are living on the road, there are different experiences everywhere you go. And one of the different experiences are the shower setups. So I use the showers in the caravan parks where we live. And so it's always interesting to me what the shower and the bathroom situation looks like. Is it clean? Do you get your own? Are there different cubicles? How many hooks are there? You know, that whole thing. And one of the things that I tend to do is if I find a good shower, I will stick with it. I will not change. I will stick with that shower for the entire time that we're staying there. But sometimes I have figured out recently, I might be missing out on something better. And it's because I didn't kind of maybe do a full inventory on what was there. Or I tend to go with what I know and I don't realize that I could actually have it better. So, for example, I realized the other day that at one of the caravan parks I was at, one of the showers had a whole raindrop waterfall. I don't know what the name is, but it's like the really big heads on the shower. In one of the cubicles had this gorgeous shower and the other ones were all really small. And I thought to myself, wow, I had no idea that shower was available because I've always gone to this one over here. And I haven't really looked around to see what's going on in the other areas. And then today that happened to me at yet another caravan park. Like, you would think I would have learned my lesson to just kind of assess what's going on in each shower, especially if nobody's there and I can just check it all out before I make my decision, right? But the shower that I had today had a way bigger head and a bigger setup than the shower I had yesterday. So this is just a long-winded way of me kind of saying that sometimes when we get stuck in old routines or old habits, or we keep doing the same thing all of the time, driving the same place, having the same order at the coffee shop, talking to the same people, blah, 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 we miss out on the opportunity to expand our awareness and even sometimes get out of our comfort zone, okay? And when we get out of our comfort zone, that is where a lot of the miracles happen. Kyle Gray said one time, on the other side of fear is a miracle waiting to happen. And one of the things that I realize is when I'm traveling around, you know, sometimes you are hella out of your comfort zone. You're in areas where you maybe don't feel as safe as in other areas. You have neighbors that you talk to and connect to, and sometimes you don't talk to anybody. Sometimes you're on the road for long stretches of time and you might have, you know, car issues or troubles, and you're out of your comfort zone. And it's about, well, what do you do with that? And I feel sometimes if we set ourselves up to go out of our comfort zone now and again, when those bigger out of your comfort zone moments happen, they're not as difficult. And one thing I wanted to talk about on this episode today is some of the things that I do to help myself with energy clearing and energy management. Because as a empath, I tend to feel energy very deeply, and I kind of forgot what it's like traveling in big cities or big areas where there's lots of people, because I've spent the last few years living on a property very often, reclusive, really simple life, and very quiet. And so when I get into bigger cities or areas where there's a lot of people, I've been noticing lately that I've been feeling a lot of overwhelmed, a lot of overwhelmment. Is that a word? Overwhelmment. Anyway, I've been feeling overwhelmed, and that for me shows up in anxiety. It shows up with franticness, talking fast, heart beating really quickly, even feeling uncomfortable, nervous. You know, even now I'm kind of channeling that because I'm sort of feeling that at the moment. And so I realized that, well, one of the things that I need to look at doing is making sure I'm clearing and cleansing my energy on a regular basis, and I'm doing things that are setting me up to feel comfortable and safe, especially in new environments. And so some of the things that I do, well, I always make sure my house is tidy. Okay. I always make sure that I have like an area where I can feel comfortable and safe and relaxed in. That's really important, especially when you have a van life vibe, or like how we're living at the moment on the road. That's really important to do. Another thing that I do is I take emergency Bach flower, bush flower. At the moment, I use Australian bush flower remedies. I love them. I use the emergency whenever I'm dealing with anxiety. I use a lot of their other stuff. I use essential oils. I love my lavender. I use things like frankincense and clary sage. Again, do your own research to see what's going to work for you. These are just the things that I use for myself to help myself. I have a clearing and cleansing technique where I imagine like light coming out of my third eye and swirling all around, clearing and cleansing and shaking off anything that I've picked up. I use water a lot, washing my hands, drinking lots of water with the intention of like letting things go. I imagine even a light in my solar plexus area, and it kind of like explodes out through my body, and then it like clears and cleanses and removes anything not at the highest good. I do practices where I go up to the creator's space and I clear and cleanse and remove any negative energies, psychic hooks, things like that, and I replace them with unconditional love and truth. You can look into theta healing if you're interested in that kind of process. And also, if you go back to one of our earlier episodes, like almost our first or second or third episode there, my beautiful friend Veronica McClintock does a gorgeous meditation called Ball of Light meditation, and she's just amazing. But she does a really beautiful practice where you can actually go and clear and cleanse your energy. And there's quite a few different meditations actually on the show that are already there, such as a heart breath with beloved, where you can come back to your heart and focus on love. And that is such a powerful way of clearing and cleansing your energy as well. One of the things that I've also been exploring and looking at is sound. Working with sound, even using music, even tapping on my tummy or using a bell and dinging. I have emotional clearing sprays that I use. I know you're like, girl, shit. And I hear you. So I'm not telling you all of those things to overwhelm you. I'm just saying that these are a lot of the techniques and tools that I have in my toolkit to assist me when I'm maybe not feeling great. Now, that being said, it's okay sometimes to feel a bit of anxiety. It's okay sometimes to feel a little bit different, to feel your feelings, right? And then just kind of let them go as well and go, okay, cool. I maybe not feel myself right now. I'm going to listen to some great tunes. I'm going to watch a movie or read a book, go for a walk, sing a song, cook a great meal, infuse some love and light into that. Just do anything that's going to kind of maybe get me out of my own way and do something different than sort of wallowing in that feeling. So anyway, okay. Well, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Hope it was a helpful episode. And I want to send you a lot of love and light. And I just think that I just am so grateful that you are here and you're listening to the show. And if you love it, please share it with your friends. And thank you again for all your unconditional support. Talk to you next time. Bye. Hi. Thanks so much for listening to the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave us a review where you listen to your podcast and share it with your friends. Thank you. New episodes every Thursday.